everybody, this is Josh. Welcome to Game 6 in a Best of 7 series here. We've got AskJoshy from It's GoSu as our blue Zerg down in the bottom left corner of Xel'Naga Caverns. Up here in the top right, we have TD.Attero. He's our reigning champion on the V. He is the red Protoss up in the top right corner. And he's ahead in this series 3-2. If Attero wins this game, he will earn himself a third $100. He already defeated Team Rain Spades and then Complexity Gaming's Trimaster in the last 2 weeks, so if he wins here, this will be his third victory, and he'll come back next week to face a new challenger. AskJoshy, of course, trying to fight his way back from a 3-0 deficit, making the series now 3-2. He will have to win this one and one additional one if he wants that $100 and the chance to return next week. The V takes place every weekend. It's hosted by Complexity Gaming, sponsored by Creative Sound Blaster, PNY, and QPadUSA.com. I'm Josh Sub, aka AskJoshy, on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.com. You can check out all my stuff after the cast, but right now, Attero is going to go ahead and send that probe down. He doesn't want AskJoshy to try and take that natural expansion very quickly. AskJoshy is instead going to go for Extractor first Speedling build. We'll see how he does with that. This is the same sort of thing we've seen a couple of times already this series. There were some stream issues for Game 2, but this is the build that he chose for Game 2, and I believe Game 4 as well. So we'll see if that's going to pan out for him. Of course, he needs to dump 3 drones into gas immediately so he can get Zergling speed as fast as he can. Attero zapping away at that drone. Probably should not be able to kill it, but you never know. So Attero is just going to go out toward that natural area and hang out for a bit, making sure that AskJoshy will not be able to take that natural until Attero deems it fit. Gateway coming up at the wall-off area. I'm glad to see that, actually. No Forge Fast Expand this time around. It can be difficult to Forge Fast Expand on this map, so he's going to have to do something a little bit different. Just hanging out at the natural for AskJoshy. I wonder if he's going to go 4-gate or 3-gate robo or 2-gate robo with an expansion or any sort of variance like that. Could also go for some Stargate play. Xel'Naga Caverns, not a terrible map to do some Phoenix and Void Ray action, so we'll see what he's got in mind as this game continues to unfold. Zergling speed has started. The drones have been pulled off the gas. And here we go. First 2 lings already out, going to chase down this probe. Probe not in position to stop that hatchery, so he's just going to drop it freely, and the probe will not have anything to do with it. Just going to run back home, safe and sound, with 2 Zerglings chasing him. That little juke around the cave there helped this probe stay alive, I think. Takes one more little jab from that ling. It looks like, what's going on over there? Oh, it's just an overlord. I was going to say, is AskJoshy proxy pyloning? He can't even do that. He's Zerg. Probe's going to make it all the way back in via Mineral Walk, and Attero saves his scouting probe. Zergling's already getting started, chewing away at that gateway. Really, the Zealot can't do anything about it unless he pulls away from his post, and then he leaves the opening exposed. Sentry pops out, though, and chases that Zergling away for good. Chrono Boost dropping on Gateway Research, Warp Gate Research. Whoa, there was a Stargate. Stargate and a Gateway being built side by side. Isn't that kind of weird? Notice the health bars here. Notice how the health bar for the Stargate is like higher vertically than a normal Gateway. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why it's like that. Is it because the Stargate is taller, or because it floats off the ground? I don't know. Anyway, pylon about to finish here. AskJoshy gonna have his hatch sprout open like a giant, I don't know, pimple or something. AskJoshy already getting over there for the larva inject and transferring some drones. Sorry, read a couple of chat comments that made me giggle. But anyway, Void Ray coming out here for Attero very, very quickly. He's already got a circuit set up to go check out this Overlord. I wonder how he knows that Overlord is there. Maybe it's just from playing a million billion ladder games that he knows the very typical Overlord spots. Here's another one. Checking out the base from the south side. Is going to see this pylon? Is he going to see the Stargate before the Void Ray pops out? It doesn't matter because the Overlord's too slow to run away from a Void Ray anyway. Let's see. He's most likely going to get that vision there. He does see the Chrono Boost, and he sees the Stargate, and he sees another Void Ray. Look at that. You can see the Void Ray in production there. It's the only building in the game that actually shows you what's being built. Overlord is actually going to get popped by the Stalker Sentry combo, another gateway being built, and AskJoshy has all the information he could ever want. These Zerglings are going to be forfeit here soon if the Void Ray does run into them. Evolution Chamber and Lair both being made now for Spore Crawlers and some anti-air options. Spine Crawler being built here at the front in case some Gateway Forces show up with that Void Ray as well. Attero floating across Xel'Naga Caverns, taking a long route. Not the most efficient route. Don't know what he's doing. Second Void Ray's out now. Not even going to check the Xel'Naga Tower, although OsToJiY did see that Void Ray fly on by, so he knows it's on the way. He's going to meet up with his Void Ray buddy over here and attack with 2 Void Rays instead of just 1. Unfortunately, it's going to be still pretty difficult to take out these queens with 2 Void Rays. It can be a bit of a struggle, but the Phoenix should certainly help with that endeavor. I don't know why he's flying around so much with the Void Rays. You need to pick where you're going. Time is of the essence. Spore Crawlers are being built right now. There's a Phoenix inside the main. There is a Spore Crawler on the ground, so he knows that's not going to be a viable attack target for a little while. Spore Crawler also being built here at the natural, and a macro hatch after just 2 bases. Interesting play there from OsToJiY. 2 Void Rays going to converge once again. Where are they going to go? They're going to head over to the extractor. Probably going to be able to score an extractor kill just because the Spore Crawler is back so far, but there are 4 queens out now for OsToJiY, and he's getting ranged attacks and Hydralisk. The Hydralisk den is complete, so Attero just establishing some map control. If he attacks with these Void Rays, I will be absolutely confused. Since he did wait so long, he has to know that Spore Crawlers are going to be there. Here comes a queen. Free creep tumor kills. That's certainly nice, because now he's going to have to spend more energy to get those back. Void Rays, take out the queen. They're building, they're charging their lasers. Oh, big transfusion lands on the queen, and the Void Rays do absolutely nothing, so he's going to have to back off. Phoenix still hanging out by the Xel'Naga Tower in case a Zergling runs over there to try and hold on to it. Well, actually, one Phoenix won't be able to do anything to a Zergling. He can lift it over and over and bench press it to death. But an Observer is out now for Attero. He's getting that Robotics Bay up and a second Robotics Facility, so he's going to do a hard switch over towards Colossi without actually sacrificing his Void Rays and Phoenix just yet. Hopefully he will be able to hang on to all that. OsToJiY is using that Macro Hatch already, getting those Larva Injects up, and about to take his gold base, it looks like. How many roaches do we have? Just 6 roaches, just 3 hydras, and some speedlings running around on the ground. Attero, I'm going to take your unit tab and see you have 8 zealots, 3 sentries, and a stalker. Those Void Rays should probably just return home now to protect against any kind of big attack. Attero will be able to stop that very easily, but OsToJiY does confirm that this base is up and running now. Harvester count very, very even still. Attero a little bit behind, but that's to be expected when you've got a Zerg player with 2 bases and a macro hatch. Now taking a 3rd base here at the gold. Attero should be aware of that. Void Rays still poking out on their own. Very surprising. Every time I see this, I'm always a little curious how much damage he thinks he's going to be able to do, or not just Attero, but any Protoss player that pokes in with those Void Rays without any ground support. But Photon Cannon coming up now. First Colossus is already complete. 8 more roaches on the way, and Pathogen Glands researching now. So it looks like we are well on our way to that sort of end game that we keep seeing between these 2 players. Infestor Broodlord against Mass Colossus and Blinkstalkers with Psystorm a little bit later on. Extended Thermal Lance is being researched right now, but not chrono boosted for the moment. Instead, it looks like he's sinking all of his chrono boost into actually producing these Colossi, but he's not using it on either at the moment. There's a chrono boost going down on the Colossi again. He used it on the Robotics Facility that already finished the Colossus. Unfortunately, he needs to start building something else, so it's pretty much a wasted chrono boost. Too bad, so sad. 2 Void Rays still floating around. He will be able to do some annoying harassment, perhaps. Looks like another big round of Warp Ends trying to snag this Overlord kill, but I don't think he's going to get it, as the Overlord is so swift in the air. He's like a hawk soaring above the Xel'Naga Caverns. That's kind of weird, actually. Think about it as like flying around in a cave. I guess bats do that. That's not that weird. Anyway, a couple of Colossi are up now. Extended Thermal Lances are done. +1 weapons are not finished just yet. Big Force Fields actually helping kill a lot of these roaches. Attero going to continue to move through here. He does have Void Rays at the back of the gold base. Fungals go down, but the Void Rays do manage to survive, so Attero is just going to keep on trucking through the middle of the map. He's not going to pick off that Overlord. It does actually escape somehow. Is he going to kill it? You just have to attack it. There you go. Spine Crawler taking some big damage from the Colossi, of course. Spore Crawler also taking some damage. Now the Void Rays can get back in on the fun. OsToJiY actually doing a big counterattack, taking out that cannon. There's nothing here for Attero to be able to defend. Oh my goodness, we have a base race here for Game 6. The gold base is going to go down. Is Attero going to try to respond here? All these probes are getting totally destroyed. This Nexus is bound to go down. Attero is going to need to escape with some probes, but OsToJiY actually kills that natural expansion, and Attero will need to kill the natural of OsToJiY. Big force fields go down, and he's going to kill. Wow, that's a lot of drones there. If the Colossi get over there fast enough, he will be able to rip through those. OsToJiY trying to run home now to respond, but it may be too late. All these drones are going to get absolutely corralled, just like fish inside of a barrel. Roaches popping out on both sides. Another force field on the ramp, but it doesn't plug the hole completely. Roach is still not in on the fight. I'm going to keep these Colossi highlighted here so we can keep an eye on their health. It looks like the investors dropped some fungals, but the Colossi still in good shape. Not a lot left on the ground, though. Just these 3 Colossi at this point. The Void Rays trying to do some damage to Overlords during all this. If the Void Rays were in the fight, who knows how this may have ended, but it looks like all the Colossi are slowly going to get picked apart. Look at the supply now for each player. 68 for OsToJiY, 50 for Attero. He's going to lose this Stalker and the 2 Void Rays the whole time, just hanging out off the side. Now he moves in with the Void Rays. Terrible time to do it. There's still Hydralisks alive. This Infestor could actually just turn to his side and try to attack you as well. Trying to rebuild that Nexus, it's a good thing he does have these sentries and Colossi. Void Rays actually being responded to now with Queens and Hydralisks. He is actually going to be able to bounce out of there. No, he's going to lose this Void Ray if he doesn't get out of there right now. And he's in the red health, only 28 health left on that Void Ray. He's going to take out the Destructible Rock so the Void Rays can't continue to dip in and out of that natural area, but Attero did not even kill the natural hatchery. Look at that, both players at 22 harvesters. OsToJiY does have the luxury of actually having a second base to mine from, but check this out. Attero's still very, very even on the income for minerals and ahead on the gas income. He's just probably a little bit annoyed that he's got to continue building probes now and only has 1 Nexus to do it out of it. These Void Rays are going to get taken out by the Corruptors. Oh my goodness, 1 Void Ray left, only 2 Colossi and a handful of sentries here to be able to defend against all of this stuff. He's going to need some Stalkers on the field to help against those Corruptors, or OsToJiY could really just break down the front. He's ahead by 17 supply. This game just reset to about 10 minutes ago, except now the tech is like all crazy. He's chrono boosting out some probes now, going to try and do his best to defend here. Big force fields, they're trapping the Roaches, but they are still able to attack the sentries and the Stalkers. The Corruptors are going to do the necessary damage, but it's going to be a slow fight. The Void Ray is actually still standing as well. Is he going to be able to pick off the Corruptor? No, so the Stalkers will need to take the last shot there at the Corruptor to save his Colossi. 1 Colossus does go down, unfortunately, before regenerating its shields, and now the supply is ridiculous. Again, Attero taking a supply lead, 54 to 51. 6 Roaches being produced here for OsToJiY. All these Overlords getting taken down for free. Another one bites the dust. Another one gets taken out before being able to escape. OsToJiY has really good creep spread, but nothing else at the moment. 27 Harvesters against 30. Units tab, we see 1 Corruptor and 7 Roaches against 2 Colossi, 5 Stalkers, and a Sentry. This game's kind of ridiculous at the moment. But yeah, Attero still alive. I thought things were looking pretty grim for him once that natural Nexus went down. Now he's just reestablishing his economy. He's actually ahead on Harvesters. Certainly a good thing for him. There's 4 Roaches skittering around on the left side, but if Attero responds quickly, he will be able to kill all 4 of those Roaches. He's going to go for those probes because he knows he's behind in economy. Takes out 2 and tries to get away with the Roaches. If only Attero had Blink. Unfortunately, he doesn't, but he will be able to take out at least 2 of those Roaches. 2 probes for 2 Roaches is a pretty good exchange, but the Harvester count is very, 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 very close. It's actually exactly the same for the time being. 5 Infestors being created for OsToJiY. He's banking heavily on those Infestors to do a lot of damage here in the near future. Gold base getting taken out is a big actually gain there for Attero. That gold base, if it had continued to run for much longer, OsToJiY would have been able to expand a couple more times off of that. Attero's actually ahead in supply. Still, these Infestors are so risky because they are very, very very useful, but very, very squishy against those Colossi. So he's going to have to be incredibly careful with those Infestors if he's making such a big investment. The Immortal pops out. He is going to be able to squeeze through that tiny hole there next to the Cybernetics Core, and an Immortal is actually bigger than a Cybernetics Core sometimes, it looks like. But 2 Immortals, 2 Colossi, good number of Stalkers now. These 2 Roaches are going to poke back in. How many Roaches, or how many probes, excuse me, are they actually going to be able to kill? 2 probes down, 3 probes down. Is he going to snag a 4th? No, these 2 Roaches will be taken out before they can score any more kills, so Attero dealing with that quite well. Workers killed. Both players have killed quite a lot. 44 kills for Attero. Back to the income tab. Attero's still ahead on Harvesters, 37 to 34. OsToJiY again with that very expensive Infestor bundle that he's got. 8 Infestors. Could die very, very quickly to Stalker Sentries and Colossi, but Fungal Growth is going to be the spell we have to watch out here. Another Immortal about to come out. Immortals actually stand up pretty well to Fungal Growth. Even though they take extra damage, they do have a lot of health, so they're able to live through several Fungal Growths and continue blasting down this roach armada that's accompanying these Infestors. So we'll see how this actually ends up being traded off. Attero is being very, very careful, except for this Immortal. Oh my goodness, he reels it back in before it just walks into a certain death. The Forge could be researching something right now. Attero's got a pretty good handle on his spending, and he is getting his economy back up and running. 39 Harvesters now. OsToJiY does take a Harvester lead once again, 41 Harvesters to 39. There's full Chrono Boost on this Nexus. There's a lot of Chrono Boost available on the other one. He could just be spending this endlessly. Just doesn't have enough cash right now to be spending it on his Warp Gates, unfortunately. An Infestor runs off to the side, just taking a look around. Probably would want to use a Ling for that, but instead he's sending 2 full energy Infestors to try and do something sneaky, it looks like. Burrow is not research, so they won't be able to sneak in and do a ton of infested Terran attacks, but at least he knows that his opponent doesn't have this third base. Good move here by Attero, dropping those pylons. That's going to prevent these Infestors from sneaking in, dropping big fungals on the side. Actually, one's a Photon Cannon, and a Pylon Cannon is going to take some shots at these infested Terrans, but Attero should be able to respond before the cannon actually gets taken out. Is he going to lose the cannon? He does lose the cannon. Those things are so strong. But the 2 Infestors did spend a lot of energy. 1 Infestor actually went totally dry there. But of course he'll regenerate that. Attero still just about even on supply. He just got passed by OsToJiY, building a round of 7 roaches. That's 14 supply tied up in those eggs at the moment. Burrow is being researched, and another cannon is dropped to replace the fallen one. Twilight Council up already. Templar Archive being constructed. We're seeing this same late game out of Attero time and time again. Observer coming up now, continuing to take his map vision. Stargate, a little bit inactive after that first 2 Void Ray and Phoenix fiasco. More Immortals being made. He's just making so many Immortals now. It's already up to 3. That's going to be a 4th. Another Gateway being dropped, as well as that Templar Archive getting finished up. Corruptors come in just on their own just to take a peek. That's kind of interesting. I guess they are pretty beefy, though, so you can go take a look with those guys. Look at all these Infestors now. Holy crap. That is so much energy for Fungals and Neural Parasite and Infested Terrans. This could be very difficult for Attero to deal with if all of these Immortals and Colossi get stolen, or even these High Templar. Even though they don't have Psystorm yet, feedbacks could be very interesting on those sentries or something like that, but basically you just want to spend the energy before he can. Alright, let's double-click the Infestor count. It gets emaciated very quickly, down to only 8 now, and they didn't really pick up anything, just damage the shields on these Immortals, and wow, Infested Terran being dropped all over the place. This is a huge encounter. Big fungal growths splattering this entire force. The Colossi need to be careful as these Corruptors are now bunching up and attacking them, but the Immortals are doing a ton of damage. Still a lot of Stalkers here as well. 6 Immortals totally intact. Attero is rolling right through here. All those defenses are now gone, and OsToJiY making a round of 13 Roaches against this huge number of Immortals. Normally you would never ever suggest that, but it's really the only thing he can afford, and these Infestors are still able to do Neural Parasite or Fungal Growth. There's a Neural on a Colossus, 2 Neurals on 2 Colossi. Actually, the Infestors are way in the back, so actually these Colossi are doing a ton of damage while Neuraled, and the Corruptors are focus firing them while they're stolen. Great moves there by OsToJiY, and Attero is going to lose his entire fighting force due to some really good Fungals and focus firing from those Corruptors. So Attero is going to have to rebuild while OsToJiY actually has a standing army. This Archon going to wander into his death most likely. I don't know what he's going to be able to do. There's he snags a couple of kills, but I don't imagine him lasting much longer here against these Speedlings. Ooh, 3 Speedling kills there with the splash damage. That could not have gone much worse for Attero. Those Neural Parasites on the Colossi were just massive. And now he's got probes being taken out, and he can't really expand anywhere, and OsToJiY has taken a 3rd base comfortably. He's ahead on Harvester count once again. big advantage there on gas and mineral income, and he really wants to take out this Overlord so he can go expand again, but he only has 3 Stalkers here to be able to kill them off. OsToJiY, is he going to press his advantage? 105 supply against 66. It looks like he's just hanging out, trying to decide what to do. Now he's committing, sending in these Corruptors, Zerglings, and Roaches. He should have waited perhaps for the Corruptors so he can get a free shots off on the Colossus. Colossus is down. There's only 1 Colossus remaining. All these Zerglings are going to get raked over by the lasers. Oh, the big burrow. No observer in place here to stop those infested Terrans. The Colossus has to move all the way to the back, and Attero just does not have really much to fight with. Now only a couple of Stalkers and Zealots still standing, and the Roaches, Infestors are going to clean up the last of it. And there's the GG from Attero. This series went 3 games in favor of Attero. OsToJiY has won the last 3, and now we're going to go into Game 7 to have 1 game to decide who wins the $100 and becomes the champion of the V Week 27.